Welcome to another Mind Right Monday. Today we're going to talk about how to overcome the fear that paralyzes you. Welcome to another Mind Right Monday. I'm Bonnie Kelly, and today we're talking about fear. Ah! Yes, the fear that paralyzes us, and let's admit it, we all have it. Now, fear is a common emotion, and in fact, fear is always present no matter who you are or how confident you are or what it is that you do. But when fear becomes unchallenged and is an emotion that runs us awry without our interception, then it's going to create paralyzation. It can create us to be limited or for us to get stuck in a cycle of self-sabotage. So why? Why is fear so present? Well, honestly, it's there to protect you. Just like if you feel fear, if you're experiencing standing on tall heights, well, the reason why that's there is to know that if we jump or if we fall, that it could mean the end of us. So having fear is a normal response, but unchallenged fear, where we're not intercepting that fear, is going to then lead to an unnecessary touchdown for the opposite team, which is most likely the direction you don't want to go. All right, so let me share a quick little story. So when I was 16 and I first got my driver's license, the very first vehicle that I had was actually a stick shift. So my stepfather took me out and taught me how to drive this thing as best as he could, but there wasn't really a lot of lessons on how to drive this. And when I got my driver's license, I was driving an automatic vehicle. So I remember the first time I took all of my friends out, I was so confident and calm because I was able to shift and navigate through these gears without any issues until I came into an intersection and I stalled. Now, for anybody who knows, right, that when you're driving a stick shift, if you stall, all you have to do is restart it, put it back into neutral, shift it back into first, and get going. But all of a sudden, I was consumed with fear. This was a busy 4-lane, each direction intersection, and I'm smack dab in the middle of this. As the fear became overwhelming, it became big, it was mounting up. I couldn't do the simple task of shifting from neutral into first gear. The engine kept going, and I couldn't get this thing to move, all because fear was present. My friends in the car were starting to panic, and the girl in the middle of the seat, she simply did this. Take a breath. And in that moment, when fear was just consuming us, we were about ready to get out of the car and push us out of the intersection. People were honking. The light had already changed not once, but twice. She takes that moment and says, breathe. I took a deep breath and instantly shifted into first, and on we went. You see, fear needs an interception. And when we can intercept that fear, we can have a different outcome. So today, I'm going to teach you 3 tips for you to help change your fear and not allowing it to continue to get scores and touchdowns for the opposite team. But before we get going, pause the video right now and download the free worksheet that correlates with this. You can take that worksheet home, fill out all the information, and actually take what you're going to learn into practical application. All right, let's get started with the first one, which is acknowledge the truth within your fear. All right, so as I mentioned, your fear serves a purpose. Its purpose is to keep you safe, right? So just like the story of me shifting gears, when fear became present, it was because there was a threat that was also around us. We were in a busy intersection, and all it took was one person flying through a green light who wasn't paying attention to seeing the stalled car in the middle of the intersection to ruin my life. So that fear was there on purpose. We have to acknowledge why that fear is present, why you have the fear of change, why you have the fear of speaking your truth, right? You're afraid of rejection or abandonment. Why is that there? So the first step is to acknowledge that that fear serves a purpose. And when we can acknowledge it, now the brain is going to say, okay, it hears me. She feels me. She understands that that's present, so she's not ignoring the threat and allowing the fear to loosen the grip so we can intercept to make a different direction. All right, so that leads me to my next one, which is reason with your mind. Give your brain options. All right, so now that we've intercepted the fear, we've given it acknowledgement, we said, all right, yes, this fear serves a purpose. Let's give the brain some different options. If we can then find other ways or other possible solutions or outcomes that could result from this, then the brain is going to loosen its grip around the worst case scenario and begin to kind of figure out some other ways that this can unfold, so it's not just paralyzed in this all or nothing mindset. So we have to be able to give the brain options. For example, right? What are some other options? We could have got out and pushed the car, right? That other options is that other people would come out and help us. That we could have just abandoned the car there, right? There was other options that could have unfolded if the fear wasn't present. Now, this is the same is true. Like if you speak your truth, what are some other possible outcomes other than them abandoning you? Well, maybe they're going to understand you. Maybe they're going to only be upset for a while, but it brings them closer. Or maybe they're going to, maybe they weren't the right people for you. They weren't the right friendships that you'd want. You know, so there's other outcomes other than just that you suck and it's not going to matter and nobody likes you or whatever the original fearful reason was. All right, so this leads me to my third one, which is shift from fear to faith. Now, this is a powerful shift in our perspective, right? So there's an old saying that you can have fear or you can have faith, but you can't have both. Both emotions are predicting a future. One is focused on the worst case scenario, whereas the other one knows it all's going to work out. So again, we acknowledged our fear. We gave our fear some other options, right? So you really challenged the brain to think of some other possibilities. But now we're going to then move into this final stage, which is that we have to begin to have faith. And that faith is that it's going to work out, that you can trust in your resiliency, that you can learn from this, that you can grow from this. And so when we begin to choose how you want to move forward in the face of fear, with fear still being present, is that we can choose to have faith that this will work out, that you are capable, that you have the ability to overcome this, or that maybe you can lean on the faith that I've been through this before, I can get through this again, or I've been through worse before, that this is easy and I can get through this too. So we want to begin to shift into faith, and that's the most powerful way for us to be able to reform our fear and have a different outcome. Did you learn something? I hope so. So I'm Bonnie Kelly. You're welcome to take this one step further, and I encourage you to do so. So not only hopefully you downloaded your free worksheet that goes with this so you can really start to work through this process on your own, but I encourage you to check out my 7-day free trial of the 21-day emotional detox. It's absolutely free, and no credit card, nothing's required other than you just quickly signing up, and the link is right below at 21dayemotionaldetox.com/free. You can get access right now to begin to change the way that your brain works, change the way that you feel, and start taking action now. Don't forget, you can connect with us on all social media platforms, and until next time, I'm Bonnie Kelly.